good morning. This is all about general type of trinomials. So what to learn? On your module, you are given different kinds or different examples of trinomials. But it is important for us to be aware of what do we mean by general type in the form ax² plus bx plus c. So we have here examples. Number 1, x² plus 4x plus 3 is an example of general type of trinomials in this form. Number 2, x² plus 2xy plus y² is also an example of a general type of trinomials in form ax² plus bx plus c. Kung may question nga ang example siya kay may y, take note. The variable on the form given to us is in the behavior of x², kung sa diin second degree or 2 exponent, followed by the second term, may ara siya first degree or 1 exponent, followed by the constant term, x, as c pero wala siya x. Take note of this format. In short, ka-follow man siya. x², x niya ang exponent 1, the third term, wala x. But the difference of the two is this. Si 3 is what we called constant. Kaya wala siya variable. In short, the degree of 3 is 0. Dari naman niya, wala siya hindi siya constant. Kaya may variable siya. But when talking about general type of trinomials in form ax² plus bx plus c, sulod ni sila nga duwa. These are examples of the said general form. Okay, I included here number 3 and number 4 examples. If you were asked, are they an example of general type of trinomials in form ax² plus bx plus c? The correct answer is yes. Why? Take a look at the behavior of the variable, decreasing, and the highest is 2, the highest exponent. So in short, sulod pa siya in that form. If we have number 5, for example, having the variables y, example, y² plus 6y minus 7. Is this an example of general type of trinomials in form ax² plus bx plus c? The correct answer is yes man gihapon. Why? The behavior of y is from y², second degree, followed by the first degree of the said variable, then followed by a constant term, wala variable. So, nabilong man siya Japon in general form ax² plus bx plus c, only that in terms of y naman siya. Okay? The next is, we're going to ask ourselves, because in our module, you are given there ax² plus bx plus c, where a is equal to 1 and ax² plus bx plus c, where a is not equal to 1. So we've discussed these 5 examples are general form of trinomials in form ax² plus bx plus c. Ano naman ni sila ya ang ini nga mga examples of trinomials? So we have here, all we have to do is to focus on A. Take note, A. Di natin makita si A. A is the numerical coefficient of our x². Kung makita natin sa atong form, siya na ang numerical coefficient of our x². Going back to our lesson in grade 7, if we have here x², take note that the numerical coefficient is equal to 1. Wala na natin ginabutang ang 1. Understood na ina. Because if we're talking about the numerical coefficient and the variable, gina-times na sila. So any number multiplied to 1, the answer is the number itself. So no need to write 1. But in this case, a is not equal to 1. Kit-anon gina nga ang ato numerical coefficient is that number. So in this case, when we are given the term 2x squared, the numerical coefficient is 2. If we are given the term negative 3x squared, the numerical coefficient is negative 3. If we are given the term x squared over 3, then the numerical coefficient is 1/3. Sa grade 7 na klase ni naton. On the other hand, if you are given negative y squared, so the numerical coefficient of this term is negative 1. Is that clear? Okay. So if you are going to answer the question, which of the given example here from 1 to 5 are example of ax squared plus bx plus z where a is equal to 1? On the other hand, how about a is greater than 1? So let's take a look at with number 1. See, number 1 is an example of a is equal to 1. Nga behavior of a, the numerical coefficient is 1. Tandaan nyo gid, bisan i-scramble naton ang term sa trinomial kung diin si x squared, dira gina makita si a. Okay? Kay general type na siya. In number 2, how about in number 2? A is equal to 1 or a is not equal to 1? Okay, the correct answer is a is equal to 1. Number 3, a is not equal to 1. No, 1. Kaya pila siya? 3. In this question, a is not equal to 1. Kay 2. In this form, a is equal to 1. So we have here, question. Now, I have here more examples of trinomials in form ax squared plus bx plus c where a is equal to 1. We have here number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. On the other side, we have here another set of examples of ax squared plus bx plus c where a is not equal to 1. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. The question is, well, how about in terms of factoring? How do we factor the first set of example where a is equal to 1? And how do we factor the second set of example where a is not equal to 1? So on the module, kabay pa nakabasa na kamo, masapos i-factored out si a is equal to 1, right? Right. So always remember when talking about general form of trinomials, ang iyan nga factor is the set of two binomials or factors are two binomials. Si FOIL method ma-testify kung paano naging factor sang trinomial ang duwa ka set of binomials. So example, this one, i-factor natin si x squared plus 4x plus 3. So set two quantities or group of or two sets of parentheses. Then factor the first term, x and x. Why x and x? Again, balik ka lang sa multiplication. X times x is equal to x squared. That's the reason why we have here x times x. Ano naman ang aton himuon sa aton nga pair ni x and x here? Kay kambalta, ang factor ko no ni trinomial is may ara ginadua ka binomial. So all we have to do is to factor it out first, 3. What are the factors of 3? So the factors of 3 are, well, 3 is a prime number. So duwa lang gid iya factor, 1 and itself. So we have here 1 and itself, 3. Take note, when doing the FOIL method, it is the product of the first term plus the product of the outer term plus the product of the inner term plus the product of the last term. If we're going to get the product of the first term, we have here x squared because x times x the product of the outer term, x plus 3, we have plus 3x, plus the product of the inner term, 1 times x, we have x, plus the product of the last term, 1 times 3 equals 3. If you're going to check, always remember to combine same or similar terms. So we have here similar terms. Pareho sila x. Parehos ang x nila nga 1 ang exponent. So we can combine. Copy the variable, combine the numerical coefficient. So we have 4x. If we have these factors, in short, we have positive 1, so that the middle term of our trinomial will be equal to 4. Mabalik na siya dapat sa aton niya trinomial. So we have here x squared. Hindi mo naman na siya ma-add kay 4x kaya hindi sila same exponent. Ang tawag sa ila, this not similar term or dissimilar terms, plus 3. 3 is constant again in 0 degree because 3 don't have a variable. That's all for number 1. Let's proceed to the second example. Set two quantities, factored out x squared. So we have x times x, factored out 16. So this time, kaysa 16, kadamo-damo sang factor. 16 is a composite number. You can use 1 and 16. You can use 2 and 8. You can use 4 and 4, right? On the other side, kung may negative involved, maanom na sila. So for number 2, this is for number 1. For number 2 naman yung process, we have to factor out 16. So what are the factors of 16? We have 1 times 16, we have 2 times 8, we have 4 times 4. So the factors of 16 are the following. None. Sino nga itong gamiton? So we can use 1 times 16. Pwede ta na siya magamit. We can use 2 times 8. Pwede ta na siya magamit. Or 4 and 4. Pwede ta na siya magamit. Again, we have 1 and 16, 2 and 8, 4 and 4. Ang question is, the middle term or the outer and the inner should be added. Kay general form siya mo. And the answer should be the middle term. In number 2, the middle term is 10. So kung i-add ta sini, is this sum 10? No, 17. This one, 10. We are looking to these two factors. Kay siya ning makatag sa aton sa middle term nga 10. Kung sa diin mabalik ta sa aton given. So the answer here is plus 2 and plus 8. Question so far? That is for number 2. Okay, number 3. Again, factor, set two sets of parentheses. Class, we can read this one as the quantity. In other term, the group of. The group of x plus 1 times the group of x plus 3. Take note, when multiplying the two, you cannot leave behind the other term. Kay group sila, tingob na sila multiply. Amo nang reason that we are using FOIL method. So factored out x squared, x and x, factor of 6. 6 is not a prime number. 6 is a composite number. In short, damo siya factors. So we could have 1 times 6, right? Positive 6 man Japon. 2 times 3, positive 6 man Japon. So we're going to have here number 3. Factored out 6. So the factors of 6 again are 1 and 6, 2 and 3. Then get the sum. What's the sum of this one? Ang sum niya is 7. Ang sum niya is 5. Uy, lapit na ta. Going back to our example number 3, the middle term is 5. So we are talking about this one. But take note, it's not positive, it's negative. What to do? Okay, balik naman kita diri sa factor. Take note that the factor of 6 and or what we say positive 6, may ara man siya nga factor nga negative 2 and negative 3, right? Because if you multiply same sign integers, the product is positive. So in this case, we have negative 2 times negative 2. The product is positive 6. Factor man sa Japanese 6. But this time, the sum of two negative numbers is also negative. Then add the absolute value. So negative 5. This time, we are looking to these factors, the negative 2 and the negative 3. Ano ganit liwat ang rason nga asilagid ang ato gamiton? So that the middle term should be minus 5 or negative 5. In short, we have here negative 2 and negative 3. Ma'am, kung magsuli ma'am, una ma'am sulat si negative 3, then followed by sa piyak naman si negative 2, it's okay. Nga gani, the arrangement of the factors does not affect the product of, does not affect its product. That is our closure property in multiplication. Sige, last na lang kita. X and x, the factors of the first term. How about this one, negative 7? Oh, take note. For number 4, we need to factor it out. Number 4, factored out negative 7. So, paano kita makakuha sang product na negative? The product na negative came from the factors with the same sign. With different signs. Right? Negative times positive or positive times negative. So we can use negative 1, prime number man sa negative 7, so nothing to worry. So we can use factors negative 1 and positive 7 or positive 1 and negative 7. Then hindi gid malipat, get the sum. Kay si sum, kung sino na ding parehas sa middle term ta diri, then siya nang ato gamiton nga factors. So now, what's the sum? Positive 6. What's the sum? Negative 6. Take note hindi malipat. When adding different sign or unlike signs integers, subtract its absolute value and copy the sign of the integer with the highest absolute value. So in this case, 7 minus 1 equals 6. Positive siya kay si 7, ang pinakataas absolute value. Ang may pinakataas absolute value and 7 is positive. Negative 6 siya kay si 7, ang may pinakataas absolute value, but this time 7 is negative. Is that clear? Okay, thank you to your grade 7 teacher. So therefore, balik, ano na ding RDD? Positive 6. Positive 6 is this one, so we're going to use negative, ano to gani? 1 and positive 7. Magsulian ay it's okay. Question about factoring A is equal to 1. Kabay pa wala. So let's proceed to factoring form of trinomials in form ax² plus bx plus c where a is greater than 1. In this case, we cannot do the same thing as we've did sa babaw ng example or sa a is equal to 1. Why? Because of the presence of 3 or the presence of a is not equal to 1 here. May changes na diri sa aton outer and inner term. So let's take a look. Mayari sa inyo ginagamit is trial and error. The example is on your module. But we have also the what we called AC method or AC method. So what is the AC method? Or how to use the AC method? So all you have to do is to identify the trinomial 3x² plus 17x plus 10. Identify the A and identify the C. So in identifying the A, always remember that A is upod or the numerical coefficient of A is x², which is 3. And the C is the constant term, ang wala x. So we have 10. AC means multiplied A and C equals 3 times 10 equals 30. This time, second step na kita. So, second step, factored out AC. Ay, isa lang spelling ni Ma'am factored out AC, which is equal to 30. What are the factors of 30? But take note, the factor should be, I mean, having the sum equal to B. What is our B, by the way? Our B here is the numerical coefficient of x, so that we have 17. So look for the factors of 30 having the sum of 17. What to do? Okay, proceed. So we have here 30. If we have the same thing in mind, then dasig natin makuha ang duwa ni ka number. So factored out. Look for factors. 2 factors of 30 having the sum equal to 17. We have 2 and 15. Same manda sa mind ninyo ang ginapanundong ko. Okay, so 2 plus 15 equals 17. So we are looking for these two numbers. Correct. Correct. Kung hindi nyo gid makita, pangita, damo-damo pa na factor si 30. We have 1 and 1 and 30. We have negative 1 and negative 30. We have, what else? 5 and 6. Negative 5 and negative 6. Damot na siya. We have 3 and 10. Basic magamit man siya. So what to do next? Number 3. All you have to do, ay by the way, may nalipatan si ma'am. Nalipatan ni ma'am nga the first step gid gali prior to number 1 is to check kung may common monomial factor. Si 3, si 17, and si 10. In this case, wala man. So, wala ta siya gingamit. Pero kung may ara, pagwa gina siya una. So that you're dealing with small numbers na lang to factor it out. Okay, let's proceed to number 3. What to do? So, you're going to apply this factor over A. Okay, balik na si ma'am. Number 3. All you have to do is to make use of this number, ang nakita ta sa step number 2, as our numerator over A. Yan, that's it. This will represent the first factor of this trinomial. Paano? Always remember that this step number 3 is in lowest term. Lowest term gina siya. So, it's 2/3 in lowest term. Yes. Therefore, we got our first factor. Paano? 3 will serve as the numerical coefficient of our first factor, 3x squared. And the numerator will serve kay positive siya plus 2, the second term of our first factor. Ano naman yung isa? Liwat. Si second number is 15 over 3. Di nagwa kay 3. 3 is A. Then, is this in lowest term? No, not yet. Change to lowest term. The common factor is 5. 15 divided by 5, 5. Ay, sorry. The common factor is 3. 15 divided by 3, 5. 3 divided by 3, 1. So, the lowest term of 15 over 3, 5 over 1. The correct answer is 5. Galing kay kinanglan ni si denominator. Nga kay diri si denominator will serve as the numerical coefficient of our second factor, kay si numerator will serve as the constant term of our factor. So we have here factor number 1. And we have here factor number 2. To check, number 4, to check, FOIL method lang. FOIL method. So we have first term, 3x times x, 3x squared, equal sign ni siya klasa plus outer term 3x times 5, 15x plus inner term 2 times x equals 2x plus the last term 2 times 5 equals 10. Always remember we have here the common or same terms, so we have 3x squared plus 17x plus 10. And if it turns back to the given, then your factors are correct. Then finalize lang ha. Wala common factor, 5 and x. Wala common factor, 3x and 2. So the correct answer for number 1 example is 3x plus 2 times the quantity of x plus 5. Diri naman sa number 2, hapos naman ni siya. Gagmay naman siya nga number. You can use trial and error. 2x squared. Ang iya lang na only factor is 2x and x. Then you're going to play with the factors of negative 3. So this is for number 1, AC method. You can use also AC method here. Pero you can use also trial and error. So ang number 2 natin, may ara na kita factor nga 2x, then x on the other side. What we are looking for is the factors of negative 3 nga kung i-add naton si outer plus inner, may imo siya nga 5x. So, kung i-example, kung ibutang tadi, ang factor ni negative 3 is negative 1 and 3. Positive 1 and negative 3. Right? Amo naman na yung factors ni 3. So, kung dirita ibutang, unahon tadi si negative 1. So, if we're going to use this one, 2x minus 1 and x plus 3, kung kaya nyo ma-mental class, it will shorten the process. Mental nyo na lang. So, the outer term, outer lang gid aton i-check, kay in-check to naman yung aton last term, kay ang first term ta. Kay 2x squared naman na sila, 2x squared naman ang aton first term, then, last term ta, negative 3 na na. Ang middle term na lang, which is, should be equal to positive 5x. So we have 2x times x, 2x squared, 2x times 3 plus 6x. Negative 1 times x equals negative x. Negative 1 times 3 equals negative 3. Combine the outer and the inner term, the answer is 5x, and we get it right. So the correct answer for number 2 should be si 2x upo diya si negative 1. Si x naman yung upo dyan si 3. Kung suliun mo na, sala ka na. Pero, kung ginsuli mo, una mo sulat si quantity of x plus 3, then followed by the quantity of 2x minus 1, tsakto man Japon. Kay si 2x upo dyan si negative 1, si x upo dyan si 3. Pero kung gimbaliskad mo si negative 1 kay si 3, masala ka na. Okay, so the correct answer for number 2 is 2x minus 1 and x plus 3. How about for number 3? So, si 3x, you can use also the trial and error method. Pwede nyo na magamit. So, 3x